Good morning everyone, this is John with Gun.Deals. Today we're going to be talking about the CVLIFE 1-6 LPVO. That is surprisingly similar to the Vortex Strike Eagle 1-6. Now whether or not that's a good thing will be decided later. While you're here, go ahead and complete your service to the algorithm. Service guarantees citizenship. Now full disclosure on this optic is that Gun.Deals wanted me to review this, so they sent me a couple CVLIFE samples to test and review. The first of which being the Strike Eagle clone. Now I don't actually know what model this is, as the paperwork that came with the optic didn't have the name, and it doesn't exactly match any of the models on their website, so it must be a new one. Getting into the basics, we have a 1-6 by 24mm LPVO, 30mm main tube. Size and weight are nearly identical to the Strike Eagle at 10.5 inches long and about 18 ounces. We have capped windage and elevation turrets that are in quarter MOA increments. Turrets are pretty stiff, which is better than being loose. They feel cheap, but they're definitely designed to be set and forget, so it's not a big deal. On the left side, we have our battery tray and rotary dial for our illumination. We have 11 settings and an off. At max brightness, it is definitely visible, though not particularly punchy like a fiber optic illumination or a red dot would be during the day. Moving back, we have our magnification ring, which has a relatively smooth 180-degree throw from 1 to 6. Very nicely, it does include a screw-in throw lever just like the Strike Eagles, and also like the Strike Eagles, it loosens up over time, so check it from time to time, would you? At the back of the optic, we have our diopter for adjusting the reticle to your eyes. Now, I usually don't have to adjust the diopter much for most optics, but on this one I needed quite a bit of adjustment to get everything to look right. Now, getting into usability, field of view, we have the exact same 116.5 feet at 1x at 100 yards as the Strike Eagle 1-6, which is actually pretty good. Eye relief is pretty tight compared to other 1-6 LPVOs, about 3 to 6 inches at 1x, and at 6x it tightens up to right at 3 inches, which again is a little tighter than others. Eye box, which is of course your left, down, up, and right, while at the proper eye relief is fine. 1-6 LPVOs tend to have a forgiving eye box, so overall the usability is fine, nothing to write home about, though maybe you should write your mother anyways. Talking about the glass quality and presentation, this is pretty mediocre. At 1x, the image is very warpy, especially around the edges, and it never really gets close to 1x. Now, all LPVOs aren't perfect 1x optics, but they can get close. The CVLIFE doesn't. It's still usable and you can make it work, but if you already don't like the 1x on other LPVOs, the CVLIFE isn't going to change your mind. At 6x, the image looks more natural, but the glass clarity isn't great, light transmission also isn't great. It still looks better than most red dot magnifier combos, especially at distance, but overall it's not the most pleasing image. Now talking about the reticle, for better or worse, it is, again, almost a 1-to-1 clone of the AR BDC-3 that you will find in the Strike Eagle Gen 2s and the Vortex Venom. You have a center floating dot set up for a 50 and 200 yard zero. Outside of that, you have a illuminated dissected circle for better illumination and fast acquisition, and it works as you think it would. Below that, we have our BDC holds from 300 out to 600 yards with 5, 10, and 15 mile an hour wind holds, which is actually great. I think all BDCs need to have wind holds. The problem with the BDC is that it is supposedly tuned for 223 77 grain ammo at 2750 FPS, which is closer to what you would get with 55 grain 223. 77 grain, on the other hand, is probably closer to 24 or 2500 FPS, so the whole BDC is a little bit off. The drops for 3, 4, 5, and 600 yards are 2.5 MOA, 5.7 MOA, 9.4 MOA, and 13.7 MOA respectively. The BDC will be within the margin of error at 300 yards, the 400 yard hold will be closer to 375 in reality, the 500 yard hold will be more like 450, and the 600 yard hold will be somewhere between 550 and maybe even 525 depending on your ammo. Now, keep in mind that whatever BDC you are using will always need to be trued out with your barrel length and ammo combo. This one could be closer out of the box, but it's still much better than nothing. Up top, we have some auto-ranging features based off of the human torso, which is a nice touch, though I haven't verified their accuracy. Overall, the reticle has all the things that you would want, just maybe not accurately laid out. Still better than most of the other meme reticles out there that plague these inexpensive LPVOs. Speaking of price, I don't know exactly what the price of this optic is, but based off of CVLIFE's other optics, it's probably around 150 bucks, and that includes a mount, which is like a $20 monster mount, but it does work, so I can't complain too much about that. It's a little bit cheaper than the Strike Eagle, and it's a little worse. The conclusion of this video is pretty boring. For a $150 option, it's not bad. If that's all you have to spend, it's gonna be okay. That's it. For just a fun gun, a plinking gun, a 22 or something similar, it's not much money to give you a reasonably usable LPVO. It is not going to compete with the $200, $300, or $400 LPVOs. It's not going to have the same feature set, and I would imagine not the long-term durability either. But if you're on a super tight budget, it does in fact work. So, with all that out of the way, guys, let me know what you think of the CVLIFE 1:6x24mm LPVO. And with all that out of the way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Peace off.